Here's a question to mess with your mind. What if everything you've ever done and will ever do has already happened and will happen again forever? That's the basic premise of eternal return. It's the idea that time isn't a straight line heading into the future, but more like a big cosmic circle that loops over and over. Sound terrifying? Comforting? Confusing? Don't worry, you're not alone. Thinkers from ancient mystics to Friedrich Nietzsche and Mircea Eliade wrestled with this concept. In today's video, we'll explore the mind-bending myth of eternal return, see how it shaped cultures and philosophies, and ask the big question: what does it mean for us living in a supposedly linear, swipe right for the future world? Let's dive in. Okay, let's start with the basics. The myth of eternal return is the idea that time is cyclical rather than linear. In other words, instead of history being a straight road from point A to point B, it's more like a roundabout, where you keep driving in circles, passing the same landmarks over and over again. This idea shows up in a lot of ancient cultures. The Hindus, they've got the concept of samsara, an endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The Mayans had their infamous calendar, which loops like a cosmic Fitbit. And then there's the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail, the symbol of time consuming itself. Ancient people didn't think time was a one-way ticket to the future. They saw it as a cosmic merry-go-round. But why would they think that? Because for them, the world wasn't a chaotic mess. It was orderly, cyclical, and above all, predictable. The seasons come and go. Day turns into night and back into day. Life ends, but new life begins. It's like a celestial rerun of your favorite Netflix series, but with slightly higher stakes. Fast forward to the 20th century, and along comes Mircea Eliade, Romanian historian of religion who took the idea of cyclical time to the next level. Eliade was fascinated by how ancient cultures saw time, not as something linear, but as something sacred. In his book The Myth of Eternal Return, Eliade argued that ancient people didn't see time as moving forward. They saw it as repeating patterns tied to the cosmos. For example, when a community held a harvest festival, they weren't just celebrating their crops. They believed they were reenacting a primordial moment when the gods created abundance. For them, rituals weren't just symbolic. They were a way of stepping outside of ordinary time and connecting with the eternal. Basically, ancient rituals were like hitting the reset button on reality. It's like when you've had a terrible day and decide to binge watch a comfort show. For them, sacred time was like rewatching Friends. It felt safe, familiar, and reassuring that everything was in order, even if Ross was still on a break. Now, let's get to the man who put a philosophical spin on eternal return, Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche wasn't just a mustachioed genius who had a knack for shaking things up. He also had a knack for making us deeply uncomfortable. In his idea of eternal recurrence, Nietzsche asks us to imagine that everything in our lives, every decision, every joy, every failure repeats endlessly. It's not just deja vu on steroids, it's existential. Nietzsche's challenge isn't to prove whether this is true, but to ask, if it were true, would you be okay with it? Think about it. Would you live life differently if you knew you'd have to live it again, and again, and again? Nietzsche wanted us to embrace this idea, to live in such a way that we could look at our lives and say, yes, I would gladly relive this forever. It's the ultimate call to live life with purpose and intention. Or, as he might have said, stop wasting time and start living like it matters. Here's where it gets really interesting. While Nietzsche and Eliade saw meaning in circles, our modern world is obsessed with linear progress. We live by calendars, schedules, and timelines. Everything we do, careers, relationships, it's about moving forward, climbing higher, and leaving the past behind. But here's the catch. Are we really as linear as we think? Sure, our iPhones track our steps forward, but life still feels strangely repetitive. We wake up, we work, we eat, we sleep, and then do it all over again. The eternal return might not just be a myth. It might be how we're wired to experience life. Think about it. Ever caught yourself watching the same movie you've already seen 12 times, even though you know exactly how it ends? That's the eternal return. Or maybe you're stuck in an endless loop of checking social media every 5 minutes, hoping something new will pop up. Spoiler, it's the same memes as last time. So why does any of this matter? Because the myth of eternal return challenges us to rethink how we see our lives. Whether time is truly cyclical or not, we all experience moments that feel like loops. And life seems repetitive or even pointless. But here's the thing, cycles aren't necessarily bad. They give us a chance to improve, to appreciate, and to find meaning in the familiar. Nietzsche's challenge isn't to escape the cycle, but to embrace it. And Iliad's rituals remind us that we can find something sacred even in the repetition. Think of it like going to the gym. The exercises are repetitive, but each rep makes you stronger. Life might feel like an endless loop, but within that loop, we can grow, evolve, and find purpose. And hey, even if you mess up, the cycle means you'll always get another shot. So, what can we take away from the myth of eternal return? Maybe time isn't just about moving forward, it's about finding meaning in the rhythm of life. Whether you believe in cosmic cycles, Nietzsche's eternal recurrence, or Iliade's sacred time, one thing is clear: the moments that repeat are the moments that define us. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the philosophy of time. If this video resonated with you, or made your brain spin in circles, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries of existence. And remember, whether life is linear, cyclical, or just a chaotic mess, what matters most is how you live it, here and now.